And now, here to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome, representing General Tire, Nancy Benitez.
Drivers, start your engine.
Engines have roared to life down on pit road. Pit crews ready to walk back to their pit stalls and get set for a busy late afternoon of action here at Sonoma Raceway. The General Tire 200, round 6 of the 2025 ARCA Menards Series West season. And there is a good look at our General Tire Pole Award winner right there, the number 18, William Sawalich. Two-time ARCA Menards Series East champion. Of course, Williams picked up a few wins here out west as well, including on the road course up at Portland International Raceway last year. So William, no slouch on these road courses. He has got a lot of very talented road course racers right on the back bumper. We'll keep a close eye on all of those drivers throughout the course of today. Let's take a look at our track facts. And there is a good look at the layout here. Of course, this racetrack opened back in 1968. We're going to use the 1.99 mile layout. I don't know where that extra, 528 feet was laying, but perhaps we could, or actually 52.8 feet at that point, to round it off to an even 2 miles. But indeed, 1.99 miles the length, 12 turns around Sonoma Raceway. We will not be using the corkscrew, the carousel, that we have used in years past. We will shortcut that through the chute, down past turn 4 and over to turn 7, and then back down through the S's as the field does roll from the grid down on pit road. William Sawalich and Alon Day alongside on the front row. Great qualifying run for Alon Day in the number 25. There is a good look at our General Tire Pole Award winner, timed in at 1 minute 17.5 seconds. William Sawalich, the two-time reigning ARCA Menards Series East champion, now racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, one of 3 full-time NASCAR National Series drivers racing in the event here today. Here's a look at our race analysis. 64 laps the distance, 127.3 miles. Just a tick over 200 kilometers. That's where we get the General Tire 200 race distance. We're going to take a break at or around lap 32. No scheduled tire changes today, including at that break. You're going to run all 64 laps on the same set of tires. No fuel is allowed to be added before lap 20 here this afternoon. And should we need it, we will have one attempt at a 1-lap overtime shootout. Let's hope we don't have to worry about that. But indeed, if we do go into overtime, one attempt at a 1-lap shootout. There was a good look at the chute. Now the cars making their way into turn 7. Let's take a look at the keys to the race today. Going to want to keep all 4 tires on the asphalt. We saw what happened to Spencer Gallagher earlier today. He got off over in turn 10 and pounded the outside wall. So keep all 4 tires on the pavement. And they're going to want to keep all 4 fenders on the race car. Want to race the racetrack today. Do not want to get caught up in racing overly hard with the competition, particularly early in the race. That will burn those tires off the race car early. And really, despite the cool systems we have in these race cars, it is really warm here today. You have to keep focused throughout the course of these 64 laps. Field now making their way through turn 10 down into the hairpin turn 11. We go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup here today. Get 26 cars on the grid. Field going to make a pass down through pit road to set their pit road speed. William Sawalich and Alon Day up on the front row. How about that qualifying run? Both of the days, not related, but both of the days having a very good qualifying effort. Corey Day out of nearby Clovis, California in the Spire Motorsports, HendrickCars.com car, qualifying third. Tyler Reif finished second here last year. Christian Eckes, 2019 ARCA Menards Series National Champion alongside Jack Wood, both of Bill McAnally racing cars there in row 3. Caleb Schrader, Trevor Huddleston, the point leader, back in row 4. Eric Nascimento and Kyle Keller, second in the points, sitting back there in 10th position. Dale Quarterly, he had an off-track excursion in qualifying. He is very good on road courses, has a couple of top 5s in recent years, including right here. Back there in row 6. Tanner Reif won at Tucson alongside Robbie Keneally. Robbie is the only driver to finish in the top 10 in all 10 ARCA Menards, or excuse me, all 5 ARCA Menards Series races, ARCA Menards Series West races. Get it right, Charlie. So far here in 2025. We'll see if he can keep that streak going today. Eric Johnson Jr. alongside Jeff Anton. Jeff had a good run at Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks back. Todd Souza. Todd's going to race in Europe yet this weekend. Busy weekend for Todd Souza alongside Ryan Philpott, Davey Magris, Kaylee Bryson. We're going to keep an eye on Kaylee, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver. There's Rod Nealand and Blake Lothian back in row 11. David Smith and Jonathan Rayome back in row 12. These cars will drop to the rear. Eric Johnson Jr., David Smith, Kaylee Bryson, Blake Lothian, Rod Nealand, and Jonathan Rayome, all of those cars with some unapproved adjustments after qualifying, so they will give up their starting position and drop to the tail of the field. Lights are out on the pace car, so we will double them up and get set to go racing. This time by 64 laps. William Sawalich, Alon Day up on the front row. And William has elected what would be the outside lane. And the lights are back on the pace car. We do have some cars that are out of position back in the field. Some of those drivers having to drop to the tail of the field, not in the right position. So we're going to put the lights back out on the pace car, or back on the pace car, and get everybody in their appropriate positions. Well, here's an interesting little nugget. From 1989 through 1997, most of the West races, not all, but most of the West races here at Sonoma Raceway, then called Sears Point International Raceway, were combination events with the NASCAR Cup Series. Only one driver in that time frame won more than once. Who was the only repeat winner here at what was then known as Sears Point Raceway? And there is the Sears Point Grill. Some of that food looking pretty tasty at this point. And there he is. 1992 and 1994, the driver of the Kodak Film Chevrolet and Avalon Star Ford Thunderbird, Ernie Irvan, picked up a pair of victories in that time frame. Of course, that win in 1994 carrying Davey Allison's colors. A very popular win. Ernie was challenging for the championship that year before mid-season injuries sidelined him. One of the more popular drivers in the mid-1990s. Talk about popular drivers. Here is one of the more popular short track, dirt track drivers in the country. Kaylee Bryson in the number 17, making her stock car debut. Kaylee out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, 24 years of age. And look at these statistics already to her credit. The first female driver to win a USAC Silver Crown race. First female to race her way into the Chili Bowl A main on Saturday night. she was the 2024 Trans Am SGT Class Champion. She's already picked up a couple of wins in the Trans Am XGT class so far here in 2025. So Kaylee Bryson, not only a very accomplished dirt track racer, really has built up quite a road course resume as well. Had some mechanical issues on that 17 car in practice and qualifying, but Bruce Cook and the team getting those issues sorted out, and I believe Kaylee will be one to watch in our Bounty Rookie Spotlight here this afternoon. All right, lights now off on the pace car. Chuck Welch making the hard right turn just before turn 11. Will come through the hairpin and out towards turn 12. Once we get to turn 12, we'll get the green flag. Get this party started. And here we go, folks. It is time to rock, roll, and rumble here in Sonoma. William Sawalich on the brake. Leaves the field down into turn 1. Look at that move. Tyler Reif in the 24 car. He's going to get the jump on Alon Day to take over second. Field streaming up the hill. Down past the entrance to the carousel. Now down the chute and over into turn 7. Everybody trying to file down into single file through some of these tight corners. There was Eric Nascimento wisely giving up the ground there to Nick Janitis, or excuse me, that was Will Rogers in the number 88. Streaming through turn 10. Turn 11 back to the front straightaway for the first time. William Sawalich leading them across. He will lead lap 1. And a great first lap there by Tyler Reif. Reif starting to put a little pressure on William Sawalich up the hill. Down into turns 3 and 3A. Back down the hill, over into the chute, and look at that, way up the racetrack. They're going to use every inch of racetrack that's given to them down there in what would be turn 5. Here are the Day boys. Alon Day from Israel. Racing with home stater Corey Day in the number 7. Corey, noted for his dirt track accomplishments. He's picked up a couple of wins in Kyle Larson's High Limit Sprint Car Series so far here in 2025. And he is going to go to school on one of the most accomplished road racers in the field, Alon Day, a 4-time NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion. There is the gap between the top 2 and Alon Day there in 3rd. Alon led some of the ARCA Menards Series race at Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks back. Missed pit road at the Midway break. Had to drop to the tail of the field and raced his way through the field all the way up to 2nd place. And without the help of hardly any caution flags, finished just 6 seconds behind Thomas Annunziata. So a very accomplished road racer. And right now you have to believe Alon Day just kind of riding around there. Again, have to finish the race with the tires that you started on, so it doesn't really pay to get out there and thrash that car around here in the early going. So Alon Day, I believe, going to be pretty content to sit here and run back in 3rd. And right right now, Corey Day going to go to school on the driver, the number 25. Corey Day, of course, the protege of former Cup Series champion Kyle Larson. We see a car stopped right there through turn 12. Eric Johnson Jr., one of our championship contenders, with problems here in the early going. Joe Contreras in the flag stand, keeping a close eye on what is going on, and it looks like Eric Johnson Jr. going to get that car going. Battle for position. Tanner Reif in the number 13 going at it with Robbie Keneally in the number 1. Tanner, of course, picked up the victory earlier this season at Tucson Speedway. 4 top 5 finishes so far. Led 46 laps with an average finish of 5.2. Currently second in the ARCA Menards Series West Championship standings. And the 46 laps led, well, he only led 2 of them at Tucson. Took the lead coming to the white flag. Really played the tire conservation game to absolute perfection. We'll see if he's able to do the same here today on what going to be another tire conservation game. As we see one car dive off onto the pit entrance there. I believe that was Tanner Reif's teammate, Todd Souza. Thought it was Todd Souza. Dip to the left there, coming into turn 11. So unfortunate break for Souza in the number 3. As this now the battle for 13th and 14th continuing between Tanner Reif and Robbie Keneally. Robbie in that number 1 car, the only driver with 5 top 10 finishes in the 5 races so far here in 2025. As we jump back up to the front of the field, and look at this, William Sawalich stretching out that advantage. Now 1.5 seconds in hand over Tyler Reif in second. There's a look at William Sawalich's accomplishments here in the ARCA Menards Series platform. 2-time ARCA East champion, 13 career ARCA Menards Series wins, 7 East Series victories, and 3 victories here in the ARCA Menards Series West. And coming into this weekend's activity, it's 25th in the NASCAR Xfinity Series standings. Here's a look at Spencer Gallagher in the number 23 car. Spencer in the backup automobile after getting into the wall right there earlier this afternoon. Spencer making a return to racing after several years off. Teaming up with Joe Ferre, and there we see some smoke out of the back of that number 23 automobile. And here's a battle between teammates. Christian Eckes in the number 19 to the inside. He's going to take that spot away from Jack Wood. So move Christian Eckes up into the top 5. Jack Wood back into 6th. There's a car off the racetrack. David Smith dipping the left side tires of the 05. See, completely different attitude on the 19 car and the 16 car. The nose of the number 19 way up off the racetrack under acceleration. Meanwhile, the 16 car keeping that nose pretty close down onto the racing surface. So vastly different setups within the Bill McAnally Racing organization. There's a good look at Jack Wood in the number 16. Both of these drivers competing in the NASCAR National Series. Of course, Christian Eckes racing for Kaulig Racing. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Jack Wood competing full-time for Bill McAnally's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series organization. Our first look at the points leader so far today. Trevor Huddleston sitting back in 7th. He's got another road course ringer knocking on the back door. Will Rogers in the number 88. There's Kyle Keller in the number 71. Of course, Huddleston and Keller both in the top 3 in the championship standings. Huddleston's got 11 points over Kyle Keller back in 3rd. Will Rogers, a former winner here at Sonoma Raceway, going to victory lane back in 2018. Climbing aboard the number 88 for team owner Mike Nake here this weekend. Couple of cars off the racetrack. Eric Johnson Jr., we saw the number 5 car. They are working on rear end issues. Currently down on pit road. And unfortunately, Nick Janitis in the number 77 car for Joe Nava. That car on pit road as well. Nick making his return to racing after almost a full year away. Nick been battling some health issues. Good to have him back with us. Hopefully the first of many times we'll see Nick Janitis back. Tough day for him here today, so we'll see him back in action next time the West cars take to the racetrack. Good battle for position. 7th, 8th, and 9th up for grabs right here. Working their way through turn 9. Long sweeping left-hander. Now down into turn 10. Trevor Huddleston and that High Point Racing team, boy, they have been on fire here the last, I'm going to say about the last 12 months. The second half of 2024 and the first half of 2025, this team has racked up an impressive record. 2 wins so far this season. Of course, 2 wins in the second half of last season. He's finished in the top 5 4 times already, and look at that total laps led. 248 laps led and an average finish of 4.4. Stats like that, no wonder he is leading the way in the ARCA Menards Series West championship standings. Of course, his father Tim, the promoter at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, also promoting racing up at All-American Speedway in Roseville, California. And this battle between teammates continuing. Jack Wood going to dip the nose to the inside, coming down into the hairpin. Can't make it stick. Christian Eckes continuing to hold on to the 5th position. Christian out here to race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race coming up here tomorrow afternoon. These 64 laps going to be invaluable for him and that Kaulig Racing team. And there's Kaylee Bryson in the number 17, and it does not look like that car is under power. Tough break for Kaylee Bryson in the number 17. You can see she's trying to get it refired. And it looks like she does have that car back under power, so a tough break for Kaylee Bryson. She's going to get passed by that battle for 5th and 6th, so unfortunately Kaylee not on the lead lap. As our leader, William Sawalich, now working his way through some of the cars at the back of the field. There's Rod Nealand in the number 68. Rod making his first start since competing in this race last year. Rod Nealand, an interesting guy. Owns the construction company that sponsors that number 68 car, and he's a firefighter with the Sonoma County Fire Department, which is stationed just a couple of miles from the racetrack here. This battle, guys, this battle between these 2 drivers, Christian Eckes and Jack Wood, you know, it's a big point of pride to be the driver within the same team that is highest up on the running order. And right now, Jack Wood does not want Christian Eckes to have that distinction. He gave up that position a couple of laps back, and he has not given up any ground at all. In fact, he has made a couple of attempts at trying to work his way past Christian Eckes. Jack Wood wearing out that back bumper on the number 19 car. Christian Eckes, of course, the 2019 ARCA Menards Series champion. 7 career ARCA Menards Series wins. Boy, he had a terrific run for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship last year with that McAnally Hilgeman Racing team. And there indeed, Jack Wood, finally, after wearing out that back bumper the last couple of laps, he's going to slip past and retake the 5th position as he comes to complete his 11th lap. William Sawalich has driven off to a 5.1 second advantage over Tyler Reif, Alon Day, Corey Day, and now Jack Wood rounding out the top 5. 11 laps in the books, 53 laps yet to go. Here's a look at William Sawalich in the Joe Gibbs Racing number 18. Crew Chief Matt Ross and that team have had a terrific season so far. A couple of wins with Brent Cruz, including the ARCA Menards Series West season opener at Phoenix Raceway. That race in conjunction and combination with the ARCA Menards Series. Also picked up the win at Rockingham Speedway. Brent Cruz dominated that weekend as well. And they have done something that only one other driver has done in ARCA Menards Series East history. They have won the first 3 races of Max Reeves' career. 15-year-old Max Reeves, 3-0 in that number 18 car. And the other driver to do it, just on screen there a moment ago, Will Rogers in the number 88. There he is. Will Rogers in that number 88 car, the only other driver to win his first 3 starts in the ARCA Menards Series East. Did it back in 2017 and 2018. And look at this, Christian Eckes in the number 19 car. He has got company. Trevor Huddleston in the number 50 has tracked him down, as has the aforementioned Will Rogers. I don't know if Eckes is kind of in cruise control mode now or not, or if that car has perhaps some handling issues, but indeed right now Trevor Huddleston battling for the 6th position, and he's brought Will Rogers with him. Be a close call out on the race course. Let's take a look at what happened. Ooh, the 16 getting trapped behind David Smith and Davey Magris. And ooh, David Smith, don't know that David saw that he was there. And I think that's part of the reason why Christian Eckes gave up so much ground there to Trevor Huddleston as well. To jump on the binders and let those 2 other cars kind of straighten out what they were going through there through the S's. So right now, Trevor Huddleston going to try to take advantage of that. See if he can work his way past Christian Eckes, looking to the inside down into turn 7. Eckes going to shut the door and keep him at bay, at least for now. Good 3-car battle for position. Christian Eckes, Trevor Huddleston, and Will Rogers. Will Rogers, hometown, Maui, Hawaii. You don't hear that too often. Not too many Hawaiian-born NASCAR drivers. Will, one of the absolute best young drivers on road courses. Right now, he's trying to work his way past Trevor Huddleston, put alongside, and now he's got the preferred lane up into turn 2. So give that spot to Will Rogers. Let's see if Will Rogers now can chase down Christian Eckes and take over the 6th position. Eckes in 6th. Rogers now up to 7th. Huddleston back to 8th. One of the cool things about Will Rogers climbing back behind the wheel, he has got NASCAR Cup Series driver Eric Jones on top of the grandstand, spotting for him here this weekend. It's kind of a flip-flop. Will Rogers, the normal spotter for Eric Jones. Eric returning the favor for him here throughout the course of this weekend. Will also going to be in action in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race here tomorrow. You can see that live on the CW. And Will Rogers closing in ever so slightly now on Christian Eckes in the 19. There is the ground that Eckes has given up to Jack Wood, his teammate there in the white and green, number 16. There's Kaylee Bryson in the number 17, dipping the nose inside of Davey Magris there in the number 14 car. Kaylee, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver. She is currently scored back in the 18th position. And that was 4 position. Both of those cars 1 lap down to the leader. First time Kaylee Bryson has ever been in an ARCA Menards Series race car. Vastly different from the Trans Am style stock cars that she races on road courses. And of course, way different than that USAC Silver Crown car that she normally races as well. There's a good look at Robbie Keneally in the number 1. Robbie currently sitting in the 14th position. Another battle for position. Kaylee Bryson picking him up and knocking him down. She's going to look to the inside of Rod Nealand in the number 68. Not perhaps the best passing zone right there down into turn 10. And I believe Kaylee Bryson going to have some more issues. And how about this for issues? Will Rogers off the racetrack in the number 88. Some smoke out of the back of the number 88 car. So a big change up near the front of the running order. Will Rogers off the racetrack and now showing some smoke. And he has got that car woed down, not up to speed. Don't know if there could be a tire issue. And he is going to keep that car to the bottom side of the racetrack. Does not want to get up in the running lane at all. Oh boy, tough break for Will Rogers after racing his way up into the 7th position. He's going to pull that car off the racetrack to the inside there of turn 7 and come to a stop. So potentially terminal issues for Will Rogers and the Mike Nake number 88 team. Just as we were keeping an eye on Kaylee Bryson, whose car also came to a stop. And that will put us under the caution flag for the first time today. Joe Contreras putting the yellow flag out. And we will roll the AMR safety crew to retrieve Will Rogers. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we come back, we will reset the field to get set to go back racing. Live here from Sonoma Raceway. Welcome back to the General Tire 200, live here from Sonoma Raceway. Charlie Krall bringing you all of the action as we are under the caution flag for the first time here today, and there is why. Tough break for Will Rogers in the number 88. Will had just raced his way up into the 7th position, and looks like some mechanical issues sent him off the racetrack. And there you see it. I believe we saw a plume of smoke out of the back of that race car, and I'm going to guess he had some fluid on the rear tires. Couldn't get that car to turn through turn 1, and there is that smoke right there, that telltale wisp of smoke. And Will doing a nice job to keep that car under relative control. But could be a short day for the Mike Nake-owned number 88 team. We're going to have another crack at it here tomorrow afternoon. Driving for the Cope Family Racing Team in the number 70 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Big news for the ARCA Menards Series West coming into today. Steve York, longtime promoter up at Magic Valley Speedway in Twin Falls, Idaho. The 2005 RPM Promoters Workshop Promoter of the Year has been named the series director for the ARCA Menards Series West, and he will take that position over starting today. So best of luck to you, Steve. Look forward to working with you throughout the course of the rest of 2025 and beyond. Good to have you on board. On what is a beautiful day. What a way to kick off his tenure. A terrific day for racing. Rod Nealand picking up the free pass under this first caution flag of the day, so he will make the lap around, and that will give us 16 cars on the lead lap. There's a good look at some of the folks tailgating and camping here at the racetrack. Everybody kind of taking a nice Friday afternoon off of work and joining us here for the first of 2 road course races. The ARCA Menards Series West calendar here for 2025, and a great way to kick off a terrific weekend of racing. Of course, the NASCAR Xfinity Series in action here tomorrow. The NASCAR Cup Series cars, they do their practice and qualifying tomorrow, and then of course their race coming up on Sunday afternoon. So 3 full days of racing activity here at Sonoma Raceway. Appreciate you joining us here live on Flow Racing and on the NASCAR channel. Those of you watching live on Tubi, on Samsung TV, on Amazon Prime, appreciate you joining us. ARCA Menards Series East race from Rockingham Speedway was shown live here on the NASCAR channel as well. So I appreciate you joining us for the first time for the NASCAR, or excuse me, the ARCA Menards Series West on the NASCAR channel. There's a good look at everybody filing up the hill down into turn 2. Haven't talked a whole lot about Corey Day in the number 7, but what an impressive performance by this young man so far here today. Corey, the protege of Kyle Larson. We've seen him pick up a couple of victories in the High Limit Sprint Car Series right here on Flow Racing. Making the transition into full-bodied stock car racing. Not known at all for his road racing capabilities, but Corey doing a great job keeping that car up in the top 5. And they brought in some heavy hitters to kind of help with this operation this weekend. Former championship winning crew chief and the guy who is crew chiefing the driver who leads the ARCA Menards Series points, Shane Huffman, kind of overseeing the effort for Spire Motorsports here this weekend. Shane, of course, the team manager for Pinnacle Racing Group, and Brendan Queen. Butterbean has had a terrific season so far to this point. Shane Huffman trying to guide Corey Day to a top 5 finish. Got a pretty good start at it so far here today. There's Tyler Reif in the number 24 car. Saw him on screen for a moment. We saw Tyler battling for the victory at Phoenix Raceway earlier in the season. Had a real great jump on that, what would have been the final restart of the day, and some contact was made and that car got out from underneath him and he really walloped the inside wall. And really all he needed was about another lap and a half and he would have picked up his second win at Phoenix Raceway, and instead went home with a crashed race car. Tyler Reif picked up a win in the Legends Car Summer Shootout down at Charlotte Motor Speedway earlier in the week. So kind of getting that mojo turned back around. Let's see if Tyler is able to capitalize on that momentum. Of course, he did finish second in this race last year to Sam Mayer. Sam won the race driving for the team that Tyler Reif drives for today. So that car knows its way to victory lane. We'll see if Tyler Reif can get up there and take it to William Sawalich. Still a long way to go. 44 laps yet to go. And 12 laps until we get to that midway break. There's Tyler with the hand out the window, trying to get a little air inside the cockpit there. And you talk about a driver looking to get a little momentum. It has been a tough start to the season for William Sawalich in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Just 3 top 10 finishes so far. But William did pick up a 6th place finish, season best, on the road course at Mexico City a couple of weeks back. He's kind of back in his comfort zone here, back in the ARCA Menards Series platform. Already seen his statistics there. And he has had a solid start to the day, hoping that that momentum carries on to tomorrow. He looked very strong practicing qualifying earlier today in that NASCAR Xfinity Series car. As the lights are out on the pace car, field going to double up for the first restart of the day. Unlike the NASCAR National Series, there is no restart zone. There is a restart line. William Sawalich has to be the first car to that restart line for the restart to be judged good. Once they get to that restart line, anything can happen from there. But he's going to have to stay in line until they get to, and there is the restart line. The restart line is going to be the one with the 2 red marks on the outside wall. The first line of the restart zone is the official restart line. We're going to keep a close eye on that, make sure William is the first driver to that restart line. But from there on out, Tyler Reif can do what he needs to do. Coming back to green to complete lap 21. And indeed, Sawalich reaches that restart line first, and he is going to try to beat Tyler Reif up the hill, and he does. Reif now having his hands full with Corey Day in the number 7. Corey Day with another terrific start in the number 7. Tyler Reif going to have the preferred lane there through turns 3 and 3A. And now here comes Corey Day to the inside. A little slip and slide, dip and dive action. Oh, and look at that power slide off of turn 5 for Tyler Reif. He's going to give up a couple of positions. Oh, here comes Christian Eckes. Eckes going to get sideways down into turn 7. And I thought for a moment he was going to take Tyler Reif with him. Eckes going to give up all kinds of track position as he's got that car turned back around. Eckes looked to the inside of Tyler Reif and just overcooked it down into turn 7. Corey Day kicking up a cloud of dust right there as he makes his way through turn 10. All kinds of action on this restart. Back up the hill. Corey Day and Alon Day, second and third. Look at this battle. Ooh, some contact there. Kyle Keller getting a shove from Bubba Nascimento there in the number 4. Ooh, those cars hitting the curb. Here comes Nascimento. He's going to try to stick the nose down to the inside, down into turn 5. Nascimento, ooh, couldn't make it stick. Kyle Keller using the momentum of that top lane. Let's take a look at that replay. Last time around, down into turn 7. Keep an eye on the Napa car to the inside. Brake hopped it. Wheel hopped it. Down into turn 7. You can see the tire marks, intermittent, off the rear tires of that 19 car. And Christian Eckes dropping from what could have been 3rd position all the way back to 16th. So Eckes going to have to patiently work his way through some of this traffic. Does have another caution. We know there will be at least one more caution coming up at the break, lap 32. Here's a battle for position. A couple of drivers on the opposite end of the road racing experience spectrum right here. Trevor Huddleston in the number 50. Going to battle with Dale Quarterly in the number 32. And look at this. Bubba Nascimento in the number 4. He has worked his way past Kyle Keller. So Nascimento is going to take over the 8th position. Move Kyle Keller back to 9th. And here is that battle. 6th and 7th up for grabs. Mentioned it at the top of the show. Dale Quarterly. Old age and treachery. Sometimes a little bit better than youth and enthusiasm. Dale Quarterly got a couple of top 5 finishes on road courses here in the ARCA Menards Series West. Of course, he's picked up a couple of wins in the East Series up at Lime Rock Park. Ooh, Blake Lothian in the 51, almost launching that car in traffic. And here comes Dale Quarterly in the 32. He's going to move past Trevor Huddleston, moved Dale Quarterly up into 6th. Dale, one of those cars that had to go to the tail of the field for unapproved adjustments after qualifying, and he has steadily worked his way into a position where he can challenge now for a top 5 position. Speaking of challenging, in the top 5, there is a battle for 4th and 5th right there. Tyler Reif in the 24. He gave up a couple of positions when he got sideways there in turn 5, and then when he drove up the racetrack trying to miss Christian Eckes. It's this battle for 2nd and 3rd. See which one is the best day. I'm having a pretty good day, but these two having a battle between themselves right here. Corey Day in the number 7, Alon Day in the number 25. You can hear those tires chirping as they are on the outer edge of control through turn 10. Down into turn 11. Corey Day with a defensive stance right there to the low side of turn 11. All about getting to lap 32. The midway break. We give these teams 5 minutes to come down onto pit road, make adjustments, but no scheduled tire changes. So I think that's what Alon Day is his main focus so far the first half of this race, tire conservation. Wants to get that 25 car to the final 20 laps. He can try to take it to the front. Here's the battle, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Here comes Dale Quarterly to the inside of Jack Wood. Move Dale Quarterly up into 5th. Dale, a former AMA motorcycle champion. Lots of experience in the ARCA Menards Series East. And right now, trying to track down a top 5 finish here at Sonoma Raceway. There is a look at Christian Eckes. Christian, back in the 15th position, has only been able to pick up 1 spot after that spin on the restart. Like we might have seen Alon Day kick that 25 car sideways just a touch, as he is going to work his way around Corey Day. So move Alon Day up into second. Corey Day back into third. That could be right there, that move to the outside, a good candidate for today's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Don't forget, log on to arcaracing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. See who we have crowned today's Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner. I'll tell you, another candidate might be Tyler Reif, avoiding certain disaster on that restart. He's given up a little bit of ground on the racetrack, but all 4 fenders still on that number 24 car. 1.4 seconds the gap between William Sawalich and Corey Day, now Alon Day, who has taken second position, and as a matter of fact, because he did make that pass, has given up a little more ground, now 2.9 seconds. So they gave up about 1.5 seconds on the racetrack to William Sawalich as they were battling for position. Let's see if Alon Day able to close that gap. So we now have 5 to go until we get to that halfway break. Oh, we've got a car sideways, and it's Dale Cornerly. Oh, no. Dale up in the top 5. Gets turned sideways off of turn 5 and has made some pretty significant contact with the inside wall. Oh, and it is going to be, that is going to be almost certainly the end of the day for Dale Cornerly there. A lot of damage to the left front suspension. Tough break for Dale Cornerly, who had moved his way up into 5th position. You saw the mark on the inside wall. I was hoping it was just kind of a glancing blow, but boy, that was some really significant contact. You can also see the rear end moved over in that car. Oh boy, a tough end to the day for Dale Cornerly. Let's take a look at what happened. And there, right there, the contact with the inside wall. Front and rear. There's Kaylee Bryson again struggling with that number 17 car. And this is the group of cars that was battling right behind Dale Cornerly. Eric Nascimento has worked his way past Trevor Huddleston, so moved Nascimento up into 6th. Huddleston back to 7th. There's Kyle Keller sitting there in 8th. Let's take one more look at what happened to Dale Cornerly coming off of turn 5 all by himself. Oh boy, tough break. Really significant contact there with the inside wall. Thought there may have been some contact that got him turned sideways, but unfortunately, as you can see on that replay, no other cars in sight. And look at this. The 2.9 second advantage has turned into a 2.9 car length advantage for William Sawalich. Alon Day in the 25. It is go time for the driver in that number 25 car. Four-time NASCAR Wayland Euro Series champion Alon Day now starting to put some pressure on William Sawalich. Battle on for the lead. First time we have seen anybody all day long, pun intended, put some heat on William Sawalich. They're going to move to the inside of Blake Lothian in the 51. Blake giving him all kinds of racing room down into turn 11. And this is where Alon Day has been really spectacular through these tight corners, the technical sections of this racetrack. Into turn 3, 3A. Down into turn 5. That is the gap that they have opened up on Corey Day back in third. Corey in the number 7, now 5 seconds back of this battle for the lead. They work around Davey Magris in the number 14. Oh, Davey's going to drift up the racetrack. Ooh, really nice job right there by Davey Magris, keeping that car on the pavement. I thought for a second he was going to slip off into the dirt right there and put that car in the tire pack. So a really nice job by Davey Magris. There's another driver that's had some bum luck so far today. Eric Johnson Jr. in the number 5. Picked up a couple of positions on the racetrack. He's 6 laps, making 5 laps behind the leaders. There is Jonathan Rayome in the 72. Jonathan has had an adventurous day in that number 72 car as well. Jonathan 3 laps behind the leaders there in the number 72. Of course, the team owner for Strike Mamba Racing. Team car, the 51 of Blake Lothian, also 3 laps down. Those two the only drivers on that lap. And here we come through turn 9 into turn 10. Into turn 11. Coming to complete lap 32. You should see the caution flag. There is the cross flag signals. We are halfway home here. Cross flags by Joe Contreras in the flag stand. And once we get the top 10 through, we should see the caution flag displayed for the second time. There's the battle now for 3rd and 4th. Tyler Reif making up some ground, and he's going to try to dip to the inside of Corey Day before that caution flag comes out. So we'll move Tyler Reif up into 3rd position. Move Corey Day back into 4th. Good move right there by Tyler Reif. And indeed, there is the caution flag for the second time today. Halfway break here in the General Tire 200. William Sawalich has shown the way for each of the 32 laps that we have completed so far, but I have a sneaking suspicion once we go back racing, that 25 car of Alon Day gonna at least make him work for it. I don't know. I think we're gonna see a battle for the lead when we come back green flag racing. Corey Day giving up that 3rd spot to Tyler Reif. Eric Nascimento racing his way up into the top 5 right before the caution flag coming out. So we'll get the field bunch behind the pace car. Then we'll bring them down onto pit road, give them 5 minutes to make any adjustments they need to make. Again, no tire changes under this pit procedure we are using here today. So they've still got 32 more laps to go on tires, but they can make adjustments, make any repairs they need to make, add some fuel, and get set to go. We'll be right back after this quick break. You're watching the General Tire 200 live on Flow. Welcome back to live coverage of the General Tire 200 live from Sonoma Raceway. Fans enjoying a beautiful day for some ARCA Menards Series West action. It's the field now making their way down onto pit road. Again, teams able to add fuel and make adjustments, but no tire changes under this break. It does look like the Corey Day team, the Spire Motorsports crew, taking the right rear tire off to make an adjustment there. There's Kaylee Bryson in the number 17 there as well. Kaylee's been fighting some sort of gremlin on that car. That car is shut off on her multiple times. So our Bonnie rookie spotlight driver not quite having the day that she was hoping for here today. Kaylee currently scored back at the 17th position, a couple of laps off the pace. There's a crew member inside the cockpit there on Eric Nascimento's number 4 automobile. Rod Nealand in the number 68. Of course, we talked about Rod, the owner of Rod Renovations, a sponsor of that number 68 car. Rod also a firefighter, Sonoma County Fire Department, stationed just up the road from the racetrack. So the field gonna make its way back out onto the racetrack and get bundled up behind the pace car. Just clarifying the pit road rules. The modified live pit stop rules are in effect for today's race. So that means these cars will line up the way they came down onto pit road. As long as they don't get passed by the pace car, everybody going to retain their position. There you see the pace car all the way on the back side of the racetrack, so these drivers will have to hustle their way back around. We'll get them back in their appropriate positions. Some track services team on the racetrack getting rid of some of the rubber buildup, particularly through the S's right there. That is a very treacherous part of the racetrack. You get offline right there and you get up into those marbles, and it could be a ride into the tire barrier. And of course, this racetrack repaved a couple of years ago. This is just the second season for the fresh asphalt here at Sonoma Raceway. Still very grippy. So the field now getting bunched up behind the pace car. Get them back in their appropriate positions. So William Sawalich will be scored as the leader. He is going to have Alon Day ready to pounce on this restart. And of course, Tyler Reif made the move into third just before the caution flag came out. So I think Tyler, who finished second here last year, Tyler Reif, going to be in pretty good position on this restart as well. Trevor Huddleston having a pretty good day of his own in the number 50. Gonna have a couple of cars move in front of him as we continue to realign the field, but Trevor just outside the top 5 as we get set to go back green flag racing. Not known for his road racing prowess, and of course one of the top short track racers in the ARCA Menards Series West. Trevor's only finished in the top 10 once on a road course. 7th up at Portland International Raceway a couple of years ago. It would be kind of a moral victory for him to come out of here with the top 10 finish, but I will tell you what, he is knocking on the door for a top 5 here this afternoon. And when you're battling the way he is with Tanner Reif and Kyle Keller, every point matters at this point in the season. So every position is a point. Every point matters for Trevor Huddleston, and for that matter, Tanner Reif and Kyle Keller. Tanner currently scored in the 12th position. Kyle Keller scored in 8th. We continue to follow the pace cars. We continue to work to get the field realigned. There's Eric Nascimento. He's going to work his way back up into the 5th position. Action-packed first half here at Sonoma Raceway, getting to set up for what we hope is an action-packed second half. Boy, a tough break for Will Rogers in the 88. Got some fluid on the rear tires. That car darted off the racetrack, and there is Christian Eckes almost taking Tyler Reif out with him. Eckes spinning out of 3rd position, and ooh, look at that. Dale Quarterly getting into the inside wall off of turn 5. There is the damage to the number 32 car. Going to bring an early end to the day for Dale Quarterly. And I'll tell you what, I think as action-packed as that first half was, we're going to see a little more action here in the second half. And this part of the racetrack right here, turn 5, boy, even the pace car using all the racetrack right there coming through that corner. This part of the racetrack between turn 5 and turn 7, I think is where we are going to see some action on this restart. Alon Day will be alongside William Sawalich. Lights out on the pace car, so we will come back green flag racing with 27 laps to go. Sawalich and Alon Day on the front row. Tyler Reif and Corey Day back in row 2. Eric Nascimento, Jack Wood back in row 3. Trevor Huddleston and Kyle Keller, 2 combatants for the ARCA Menards Series West Championship. They're in row 4. Caleb Schrader, first time we've called Caleb's name today. He is alongside Robbie Keneally. Robbie looking to continue his streak of top 10 finishes. Those are the top 10 drivers as we get set to go back green flag racing. Chuck Welch bringing the pace car back down into the infield. Let's see what Alon Day can do with William Sawalich. Sawalich has to be first to the restart line. Coming up there, just past turn 12. Sawalich on the hammer. Green flag back out. Let's see what happens as we go back up the hill. Corey Day looking to the inside. Now he's going to be to the outside of turn 2. Ooh, a little contact there at the top of turn 2. Corey Day going to give up third to Tyler Reif. Reif trying to put some pressure on Alon Day. We see Todd Souza in the distance off the racetrack. Look at this battle. Kyle Keller alongside Trevor Huddleston. Points contenders going at it into turn 7. Bubba Nascimento locking up the brakes as he tried to work his way past Tyler Reif. Reif gonna pull the crossover move and retake that spot. Field streaming down into single file order through the S's. Boy, Eric Nascimento with an aggressive restart, an aggressive move. Tried to take that spot from Tyler Reif. Overcooked it a little bit down into turn 70 and overcooks it into turn 11 as well. He's going to give up that spot to Jack Wood. Wood going to retake the 5th position. Eric Nascimento looking very aggressive on that restart. There is Todd Souza. Saw him off track on the restart. Apparently some issues with the number 3. Alon Day and Corey Day back at it. Here comes Corey Day looking to the inside, down into 7. Couldn't quite make it stick. Thought there might have been a little contact there. Corey getting on the binders. And right now they're going to have to kind of settle down and hope they can keep William Sawalich in sight. Sawalich has opened up 1.1 seconds. Actually, probably a little more than that as they have worked their way down the backside of the race course. Look at that. Corey Day again trying to sneak the nose of the 7 car underneath Alon Day. See what the gap is this time around. 1.7 seconds the gap for William Sawalich. For the 18 car, really good. Firing off after those caution flags. Here is a battle for position. Eric Nascimento in the number 4. He has got Trevor Huddleston in the number 50. Wearing out that back bumper. And talk about wearing out the back bumper. Here comes Corey Day. He's going to try to sneak to the outside. Can't make it work. I believe right now the 7 car might be just a tick quicker than the 25. But Alon Day using all of that vast road racing experience, all that knowledge to keep Corey Day in his rearview mirror. Close call right there down in the hairpin. Understand there might be some damage to the right front suspension on Todd Souza's number 3. He has brought that car down on pit road. Look at this battle. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. How about Christian Eckes in the 19 car working his way back up into the top 10. Eckes in one of the 2 Bill McAnally Racing entries. Number 19 led by Caden Lapsevich. Christian going to look to the inside, now the outside of Kyle Keller. He's going to take that spot. So move Eckes up into 6th, Kyle Keller back into 7th. And there's the other Bill McAnally Racing entry. Jack Wood trying to find some racing room to work his way around Tyler Reif. Wood with a head of steam down into turn 11. He is going to dip to the inside. And he's going to maybe bring his teammate along with him. Here comes Eckes. Right now, that 19 car looking really fast. Remember the keys to the race we talked about earlier. Keep those tires on the racetrack. Keep those fenders on the race car. And keep cool inside the cockpit. Eckes had that little slip down right here into turn 7 about 20 laps ago. But he has kept cool inside that race car. He has stayed focused on the job at hand. And right now, he is trying to race his way back into the top 5. There is the wild child, Kyle Keller in the 71. Got a good bird's eye view of this battle. Battle for 5th. Does not look like that 24 car of Tyler Reif getting through turn 10 the way he needs to. And look at that, Christian Eckes with the shove. Eckes running out of patience. He can see his teammate driving away. Eckes running out of patience. The old chrome horn coming into play right there through turn 11. Christian Eckes out of Middletown, New York. Driving the Napa number 19 for team owner Bill McAnally. 2019 ARCA Menards Series national champion. 7 career ARCA Menards Series wins. Looking for career win number 1 here in the West. And he's going to stick the nose to the inside of Tyler Reif through turn 7 and 7A. The drag race is on. Reif not wanting to give it up without a fight. Look at that. He held him off one more time. Let's see what happens here through turn 9 and into turn 10. And that's where, right there, through turn 10, that Reif has been giving up a lot of ground. He's going to try to slam the door shut one more time. A little more contact there into turn 11. But Eckes muscles his way past. So give Christian Eckes the 5th position. They race their way back up the hill through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Kyle Keller in the 71. Boy, Kyle Keller smells an opportunity here. He can pick off a couple of positions, put a couple of spots between himself and Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston, you see him lurking behind there in that blue number 50. Oh boy, that 24 car not handling the way that Tyler Reif needs it to right now. They're going to go 3 wide down into 7. The lap car of David Smith, and give Kyle Keller that position. Keller having a great day in that Jan's Towing number 71. Team owner Jan Quackenbush making a big investment here in 2025. Kyle out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Ryan Kaiser overseeing that number 71 team. Kyle coming into today's action 3rd in the ARCA Menards Series West standings. He's trying to keep Christian Eckes in sight. Eckes is driven away from Tyler Reif. Boy, that's a tough place to pick up some lap traffic. Blake Lothian in the 51 right there. That caused Keller to give up some ground. A couple of your ARCA Menards Series West points contenders right there on screen. Kyle Keller in the 71, coming into today third in the standings. There is your leader, Trevor Huddleston, in that blue number 50. We have not really seen the other driver involved in that battle for the points lead, Tanner Reif, Tyler's older brother. Tanner's having a pretty quiet day so far, back in the 12th position. There is that battle. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Rest of the field streaming through. There is the other driver involved in our championship tussle. Tanner Reif in the 13 picked up a spot on that lap. Robbie Keneally in the number 1 gave up a couple of positions. There's a good look at Tanner Reif. Also out of Las Vegas, Nevada, team owner Kelly Souza, the ARCA Menards Series West championship winning team owner in 2024. Chief, my buddy, Michael Munoz, keeping an eye on things for the number 13 team. Tanner coming into today second in the points, 9 points out of the lead. Right now, he is going to give up a couple of spots, a couple of points to both Trevor Huddleston and Kyle Keller, unless he's able to pick up a couple of positions here. Ooh, look at that. Dirt tracking it through turn 10. Tanner Reif sitting back in 11th. Checking in at the front of the field, there is Alon Day in the 25. Ooh, getting those left side tires down into the dirt. He works his way to the inside of Jonathan Rayome through turn 5. Alon Day sitting 1.4 seconds behind William Sawalich. Sawalich not been able to stretch out that big lead that we saw him build up there in the first half of the race. You have to wonder, again, is this Alon Day going into tire conservation mode? Still a long way to go. Still 18 laps to go. And you have to get those tires. The tires that you started with are the tires that you're going to finish with. You have to get them to the end. I think Alon Day still might be in tire conservation mode. And I say that, and he was the fastest car on the racetrack last time around. Sawalich answering him this time by. Sawalich building up another 1/10 of a second that time by. Actually 4/10 of a second that time by. Now 1.8 seconds the lead. Corey Day in third, but he is 8.7 seconds back. 15 drivers continue to be shown on the lead lap. There is Rod Nealand in the 68. Rod, the final driver, scored on the lead lap. He's picked up the free pass a couple of times today. Looks like he's going to fall off the lead lap one more time, and when that has happened previously, we've seen the caution flag come out. Don't know if Rod's luck going to continue to hold out. Right now, William Sawalich picking him up and setting him down as he continues to show the way here at Sonoma Raceway. Take a look at some fender rubbing down into turn 11. And these two are teammates. Teammates out of the Jerry Pitts Racing stables. Caleb Schrader overcooked it just a touch coming down into 11. Body checked his teammate there, Eric Johnson Jr. Caleb Schrader, you know, that's not a battle for position. Unfortunately, Eric, a couple of laps back, in fact, 6 laps back in 20th. Caleb Schrader sitting back in the 10th position, but boy, you hate to see that amongst teammates. As we close in on the finish here in the General Tire 200. Trevor Huddleston there in the number 50, holding on to the 8th position. No pressure from behind right now. Trying to keep Kyle Keller in his sights. Kyle is moved up into the 6th position. There's Kyle Keller right there, the black and yellow car just darting out of frame. There's Kyle Keller. Kyle coming into today 11 points back in 3rd in the standings. He's going to pick up a couple maybe if things stay the way they are. There's a possibility with Tanner Reif running outside the top 10 that perhaps Kyle Keller could move into the 2nd position in the West standings. It's Rod Nealand in that number 68. Davey Magris there in the 14. Rod, keep those tires on the racetrack there, buddy. Rod doing a good job today. His first start since this race last year. Rod sitting back in the 15th position. Here comes Christian Eckes at the number 19. He's going to look to the inside of Davey Magris. And look at that. Here comes Kyle Keller slowly closing in on Christian Eckes. Keller looking to keep up his streak of top 5 finishes. Other than the season opener at Phoenix, Kyle Keller been in the top 5 each and every week. There's David Smith in the 0-5. Ooh, close call right there for Kyle Keller going into turn 10. Thought he was going to make some pretty significant contact there, but David saw him coming. Kyle Keller, 3 runner-up finishes so far here in 2025. And you know, when you start stacking up those second-place finishes, you gotta figure that win right around the corner. Here's a guy that has had his share of trips to victory lane. William Sawalich in the number 18 car. Like he's in line at Burger King. He is having it his way here today. Is this now the battle between Eric Nascimento and Tanner Reif? Tanner trying to break his way up into the top 10. Those two cars made some pretty significant contact there going down into turn 5. Tanner Reif aggressively trying to work his way up into the top 10. Boy, Davey Magris finding himself in and amongst a lot of pretty heated competition on the racetrack here the last couple of times through the S's. It did. It got a little physical down here into turn 5. Let's take a look at what happened. Here comes Tanner Reif. Ooh, he's going to dirt track his way over the berm there. And I'll tell you what, this looks going to be even more spectacular. Whoa! Buck and Bronco right there, as we've got a big-time crash down into turn 1, and that is Robbie Keneally in the number 1. The right rear, oh, tough break for Rod Nealand in the 68. Caution out for the 3rd time. And boy, significant damage on both of those automobiles. I just said Rod Nealand having a great day. And Robbie Keneally, boy, that car is trashed. A lot of damage on the 68 and on the number 1. Take a look at what happened. The 68 got together with the number 5 and the number 1 of Robbie Keneally. Nowhere to go. Oh my goodness, and that is going to bring an end to Robbie Keneally's streak of top 10 finishes. AMR safety crew on site. They're going to take their time there with Rod Nealand. Also attending to Robbie Keneally as well. And you can see, folks, on the left side of your screen, right about where that ambulance is parked, those barriers were straight about 2 minutes ago. And that is where those cars made contact, and there is, oh man, you hate to see that. Rod Nealand just having a terrific day in that 68 car, and there is the site of impact right there. One of the safety crew members going to come down and make an evaluation. Good to see Rod out of that race car. Good to see that right there. A lot of damage to the driver's side of that car. I know that is not the way he wanted to end his day, but boy, what a day it was up until that point. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we come back, we'll take another look at that action and reset the field live here at Sonoma. Next up for the ARCA Menards Series West, a visit to the Northwest. Tri-City Raceway. Unique, triangular-shaped half-mile racetrack with some of the best racing we saw all season long last year. Greg Biffle getting turned around, coming to the checkered flag. Tyler Reif celebrating down in Victory Lane. Who's it going to be this year? We will find out. Coming up Saturday, August 9th, live right here on Flow Racing. Go to arcaracing.com for complete event information. Still under the red flag after a grinding crash down in turn 1 between Robbie Keneally and Rob Nealand. We're going to take the opportunity to move some of those barriers back in place. That is how hard that crash was, folks. Let's take another look at what happened down there. Keep an eye on that number 68 car right there, the third car in line, Eric Johnson Jr. Going to look to the inside, and I don't think Rod had any idea that Eric was going to look to the inside, and oh, wow, right there. And Robbie Keneally with nowhere to go made some hard contact. And keep an eye on this angle right here. You're going to see exactly how hard this crash was right there. Oh my goodness. Wow. And that one shows you just how vicious that hit was for Rod Nealand, taking a hit on both sides of that race car. And you know, we were talking about what a great day Rod Nealand was having in that number 68. He was indeed having a terrific day, but that was going to bring an end to Robbie Keneally's streak of 5 consecutive top 10 finishes. He was the only driver in the ARCA Menards Series West who had finished in the top 10 in every race so far this season. And that streak, unfortunately, will come to an end today. Of course, he is also part of the Jan's Racing team, Team Motor Jan Qualkenbush. You know, I don't think I have ever met anybody in my life who has better luck than Jan Qualkenbush does at the slot machines. And unfortunately for Jan, tough break here for at least one of his race cars, the number 1 of Robbie Keneally. Getting into the outside wall there with Rod Nealand, putting us under the first red flag of the season here, 2025 season for the ARCA Menards Series West. Also got a good look at my buddy Joe Contreras up on the flag stand. Want to remind Joe he owes me $5. There's my pal Joe Contreras. Joe, you owe me $5. Also want to give a shout out to my man Matt Humphrey here at the racetrack with us. Matt part of the NASCAR comms team, picking up the diploma from Harvard University a couple of weeks back. Congratulations on that, Matt. Saw a great picture of him and my guy Ray Smith sitting in the press box watching the activities here today. Good to have Ray with us here today as well, keeping an eye on ARCA Menards Series West activities. And you know, this has to be one of the difficult parts of the day for these drivers. They stay focused, they stay in the game. Then we got to shut it down for track cleanup. It's hard to stay focused, especially on a hot day like today. Right before we saw this accident here in turn 1, we saw this action down into turn 5. There is Eric Nascimento thinking he is going to make his way cleanly down into turn 5. And here comes Tanner Reif. And look at that. Buck and Bronco down into turn 5. And you know the old adage, 8 wheels turn better than 4. Well, right there, Tanner Reif proved it. One more look at it right here. And I'll tell you what, this is my nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Right there, Tanner Reif powering his way to the inside of Eric Nascimento. Boy, how spectacular was that? All 4 wheels off the ground. You can log on to arcaracing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. See who is crowned today's Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner. We're going to step away for another quick break. When we come back, we'll get back to green flag racing here at Sonoma Raceway. And good news, Rod Nealand evaluated and released from the Care Center here at Sonoma Raceway. And this is why he was there. Keep an eye on the car. Third in line. He's going to get a little shove there from Eric Johnson Jr. I don't think Rod had any idea Eric was looking to the inside. And wow, one big hit and then another big hit right there. Robbie Keneally in the number 1. And boy, Robbie shearing the right rear suspension right off of that car. One more look at it. Coming down into 1. There is that tap from Eric Johnson. And look at that outside wall right there. Ooh. Moved both layers of those barriers. And those barriers are about 7,000 pounds each. Wow. Incredible, incredible hit. It's good to have both of those drivers climb out of those cars under their own power. One more look at it from this camera right at the impact zone. There's Eric Johnson looking to the inside. Not a battle for position. Eric just trying to get up to closer to the front. And wow, just an incredibly heavy hit right there for Rod Nealand. And Rod, again, having just a fantastic day in that number 68 car. Hate to see it end that way for the member of the Sonoma County Fire Department right up the road here from Sonoma Raceway. Field back rolling behind the Toyota Camry pace car. William Sawalich continuing to show the way. Also getting reports that Robbie Keneally also evaluated and released from the Care Center. So good news. Both of those drivers involved cleared from the Care Center. So let's reset the field, folks. William Sawalich continuing to show the way. Alon Day in 2nd. Corey Day in 3rd. Jack Wood 4th. And how about that? Christian Eckes spun on the racetrack, gave up 11 positions, and he has worked his way finally back up into the top 5. We're going to have 8 or 9 laps to go yet when we go back green flag racing, so still plenty of time for Christian to work his way a little farther to the front. Kyle Keller scored in 6th, Tyler Reif in 7th, Trevor Huddleston, Caleb Schrader, and Tanner Reif round out the top 10. Looks like the lights off on the pace car coming through turn 7, so we will go back green flag racing with 10 laps remaining. And if Alon Day has been in tire conservation mode I think it's time to go into go mode right here with 10 to go. We'll see what he's got on this restart. Give a shout out to my guy Brent Stover, watching live on the NASCAR channel back at home. Brent, of course, one of the voices of the NASCAR, or excuse me, of the ARCA Menards Series over on Fox Sports. Good to have Brent watching today. Phil Parsons, also one of the voices of the ARCA Menards Series on Fox Sports, watching at home as well. Good to have you guys watching with us as we get set for the 10-lap trophy dash to the finish here at Sonoma Raceway. William Sawalich has led the entire distance. Alon Day going to try to take it from him on this restart. Back to the restart line. Sawalich in front, clean restart, back to green. Let's see what happens as we go up the hill. Ooh, a little shove right there from Corey Day. He's going to move Alon Day offline. Everybody scattering behind. Kyle Keller to the inside of Christian Eckes. They make contact through turns 3 and 3A. Eckes going to hold on to that position. Where did Tanner Reif come from? Tanner Reif in the 13, looking to the outside of Trevor Huddleston. And look at this battle. Day versus Day down into turn 7. Corey Day going to take over second. Alon Day in the 25 going to try to fight back. Ooh, they make contact into turn 8. Alon Day going to retake the second position. Some very physical racing on this restart with 10 to go. And right now, they need to keep William Sawalich in sight. Sawalich driving off into the sunset here at Sonoma. Ooh, Alon Day way up the racetrack in turn 11. He's going to give up second to Corey Day, and he's going to give up a third to Jack Wood. Don't know if there was some contact there between the 7 and the 25, or if Alon Day just locked up the brakes and wheel hopped it a little bit. But in any case, Alon Day giving up a couple of positions, and boy, that is not the time to do it. Now just 9 laps to go here at Sonoma. Here comes Alon Day looking to the inside into turn 5. He's going to shove Jack Wood up the racetrack. So Alon Day going to try to retake third. Ooh, he's going to get a little help from Jack Wood down into turn 7. Take one more look at that action down in. Ooh, there was some contact. Corey Day giving Alon Day a shove and moving him out of the groove to take over second. So there's Corey Day in second, Alon Day in third, Jack Wood, Christian Eckes, Kyle Keller, and Trevor Huddleston. And now the top 3 in the ARCA Menards Series West standings run nose to tail. Kyle Keller, Trevor Huddleston, Tanner Reif, excuse me, all nose to tail within sight of the checkered flag. There is Jack Wood, getting my drivers mixed up here. Jack Wood trying to keep his teammate behind him. Ooh, Eckes looking aggressive in the number 19. Turn 5, using up every inch of asphalt. Down the chute into turn 7. Tanner Reif, ooh, so close to that back bumper of the number 50 car. It looks like Kyle Keller in that black and yellow, number 71, going to be able to latch on maybe to the back of the McAnally teammates. He's giving himself a little bit of a gap on Trevor Huddleston. A little breathing room there for Kyle Keller in that number 71. Corey Day up the hill through turn 1 into turn 2. Alon Day trying to regain that lost ground through turns 3 and 3A. Now down the hill, past turn 4 into what is technically known as turn 4A. We're going to take the chute down into turn 7. Look at this battle. The McAnally Racing teammates going at it for 4th. Lots of good racing action in and among the top 5. Unfortunately, this all happening about 4.5 seconds behind leader William Sawalich. Let's see what happens now down into turn 11. Does Alon Day repay the favor? Not going to need to. Corey Day giving up that inside lane. Alon Day going to drive through cleanly. You can see the damage to the back of the 25. That was when he gave up that second position just a few laps ago. Now the question is, does Alon Day have enough time in the next 6 laps to make up 6 seconds on the racetrack? May need a caution flag. A little bit of help to get up there and challenge William Sawalich for the lead. Here's the battle now, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Jack Wood, Christian Eckes, Kyle Keller. Keller looking to make up some ground in the point standings and looking to continue his streak of top 5 finishes. Other than the season opener at Phoenix Raceway, Kyle Keller has been in the top 5 each and every race. 3 of those have been runner-up finishes. Blake Lothian in the 51 car. He's going to move to the outside going into turn 11. Going to give that preferred lane to the lead lap cars. Ooh, Corey Day up the racetrack. Here comes Jack Wood. He's going to pull alongside here at start finish. It's a drag race up the hill through turn 1, up to turn 2. Jack Wood will take over the 3rd spot. He's going to bring, look at that contact. Going to bring Christian Eckes and Kyle Keller along with. So Keller moves from 6th to 5th. Well, you saw that action inside the cockpit. Take one more look at it. Going up the hill. Wham! Hip check right there. Christian Eckes moving Corey Day out of the way. There's some damage to the rocker panel there on the right side, passenger side of the number 19 car. Some corresponding damage on the left rear fender. It's not hockey season, but that was a terrific hip check right there by Christian Eckes in the number 19. Let's see if Kyle Keller has anything for either of these 2 drivers. Boy, just a terrific race for Kyle Keller in that number 71 car. Perhaps not going to get a season best finish, but this might be the best race Kyle Keller has indeed run all season long here in 2025. And right now, racing with 2 drivers with a lot of NASCAR National Series experience. View down the hill into turn 4A. And look at this, here comes Christian Eckes to the inside of Jack Wood. Wood going to give him plenty of racing room there through turn 7. Move Eckes now up into 3rd. racing their way through turn 9 and into turn 10. There is our leader, William Sawalich. 6.4 seconds out in front of Alon Day in second. Sawalich has been virtually unchallenged all day long. Where this Joe Gibbs Racing team has been the dominant force across the ARCA Menards Series platform so far in 2025. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Kyle Keller, that car coming to a stop at the start-finish line. Keller going to give up what could have been a top 5 finish, and that car is going to come to a stop just past the start-finish line, and that will put us under caution for the 4th time today. Oh my goodness, what a tough break for Kyle Keller. Oh, what a heartbreaker for Kyle Keller and that Jans Racing team. Poised to collect his 5th consecutive top 5 finish. And it would appear, based on the way he was weaving that car, it would appear perhaps he has run out of fuel within sight of the checkered flag. Oh, and he is saying, "Hey, hurry up, hurry up." He would like that push truck to go about 50 miles an hour faster. The rest of the field gathered up behind the pace car, not all that far behind Kyle Keller in the 71. So unfortunately, even if Kyle able to get it back to pit road, very high likelihood he is going to fall off the lead lap here. And just an absolutely unfortunate situation. So it looks like the 71 car maybe, I don't know if he's still coasting after coming down the hill, but definitely requesting some assistance from the Steps recovery team there. So the rest of the field not even into turn 7 yet, so there may be a chance Kyle Keller gets that car down onto pit road, gets a little splash of fuel, and is able to rejoin the tail end of the lead lap. Right now, 13 cars on the lead lap. There's Kaylee Bryson in the 17. Kaylee has kept her nose out of trouble all day long, despite the fact that that car has shut off on her a couple of different times. So she will pick up the free pass. That'll give us 14 cars, perhaps 14 cars on the lead lap for the finish. So we will come to complete lap 63. Scheduled distance is 64. So I believe this will put us into an overtime finish situation. So let's go over the overtime rules. Very simple. 1 lap at a green, white, checkered. 1 attempt at a 1 lap, green and white together, followed by checkered flag finish. Once the green and white flags have been displayed, The next flag that is displayed will end the race. So there is Kyle Keller. He has come to the attention of the team. They have added some fuel. That car has come back to life. So Kyle Keller will be the 13th driver in the running order. Kaylee Bryson will tag to the tail of the field. Kyle Keller indeed will stay on the lead lap. He will have one lap to make up as many positions as he can and maybe continue his streak of top 10 finishes. He is going to need something biblical to happen here on this restart if he has any hopes at all of coming out of here with a top 5 finish. There's a good look at Alon Day in the number 25. Alon is a 4-time NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion. Of course, that series races mostly on road courses. His trip to the United States from his home in Israel. Of course, a lot of strife going on in that corner of the world. Spent 9 days trying to get from Israel to the United States. Had to take a boat across the Mediterranean, spent some time in Greece, eventually made it to the United States a couple of weeks ago. Raced in the ARCA Menards Series race at Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks back. Had a second place finish at Lime Rock. And is sitting in second, coming to the final restart of the day here at Sonoma Raceway. Lights are off on the pace car. Field doubling up. William Sawalich scored as the leader. He will have to be the first one to the restart line. We've seen Alon Day race physically when needed. Earlier this afternoon, we've seen Christian Eckes race very physically all afternoon in that number 19 car. What will we see when we get to the top of the hill and turn 2 on this restart? What will we see down into turn 5 on this restart? Coming to green for the final time of the day. One attempt at a green and white flag finish here at Sonoma Raceway. William Sawalich into turn 11. He has to be the first car to the restart line. What does Alon Day have here on the final restart of the day? The drag race is on through turn 1 and up the hill. And Day's gonna go off the racetrack. Sawalich is off the racetrack. Christian Eckes gonna power his way through. Here comes Alon Day to the outside of Christian Eckes. Eckes taking opportunity by the horns down into turn 1. He leads the field off of turn 3. Jack Wood gets turned sideways. All kinds of chaos here on the restart. Alon Day now has Christian Eckes in sight down into turn 7. Down through the S's one more time into the heavy braking zone down into turn 11. What will happen through the S's for the final time? Eckes all the way out back after a mid-race spin. He has raced his way through the field. Final time into turn 10. One more time down into 11. There is Sawalich. Here we go down into 11. Contact is made. Sawalich underneath. Christian Eckes. More contact off of 11 and into 12. Here comes William Sawalich. He's into the wall. Sawalich wins it. By a fender. Give it to William Sawalich. Oh my goodness. What a finish here at Sonoma Raceway. William Sawalich dropped to third after contact in turn one, bided his time and made the outside move. You know what? I don't even know where he made the move, folks. I got to tell you. So much happened on that final lap. We're going to have to take one more look at this. Down into turn two, there was contact between Alon Day and William Sawalich. Look at Christian Eckes. Ping-ponged his way through the field. Jumps from third to first. And look at this, down into the final corner. Eckes drives Alon Day up the racetrack. He bounces off the wall. Here comes Sawalich to the bottom and now to the top. He's gonna bounce it off the wall. Oh my goodness. Boy, you could not have scripted that one any better, folks. And William Sawalich gonna burn it down after one of the most improbable and exciting finishes in Sonoma Raceway history. Sawalich actually fell back to fourth, coming off of turn two. Absolutely incredible finish. Here's Matt Ross and the Joe Gibbs Racing team saluting their driver on the pit wall. And a well-deserved plume of smoke. And look at this finish, folks. There's Eckes trying to move him up the racetrack. Sawalich bounces it off the outside wall, stays in the gas in a three abreast finish. Sawalich, Eckes, and Alon Day all about a car length apart, coming to Joe Contreras' checkered flag. Unbelievable. And how about that? Trevor Huddleston sneaking through all that carnage to finish fourth. We are going to send it downstairs to my man, Jose, who is going to grab a word with our winner, William Sawalich. Well, we'll let him get out of the race car, and then we'll get a word with him down in victory lane. But unbelievable. William Sawalich, perhaps the most improbable victory of this young man's ARCA Menards Series career, coming here tonight.
Christian, if you don't get the Hard Charger Award today, there's something wrong with this earth. That was an amazing run you had, my man. Alon Day kept it strong the entire day and kept William Sawalich honest, no question about it.
Boy, I need to catch my breath after that one, folks. That was absolutely incredible. That entire last lap. The contact at the top of the hill there in turn two that sent Sawalich off the racetrack. Christian Eckes ping-ponging his way from third to first. Let's take a look as we wait for Sawalich to get down into victory lane. Let's take a look. And there is Alon Day giving a little shove up the hill. Sawalich goes off the racetrack. Keep an eye on the 19 car. He stays on the racetrack. Body checks his teammate, Jack Wood, while he himself is getting body checked there by Alon Day. Sawalich dirt tracking it, trying to hold on to the lead. One more look at it right here, right after they get underneath the bridge, right there. There was the contact, and they both go off the track. Eckes body slams the 25 and the 16, and then if we can let this play, once we get to the top of the next hill, there will be some contact between Sawalich and Jack Wood, and that sent Jack Wood off the racetrack. Oh my goodness. I don't know what part of that last lap it's going to be, but it certainly will be one of them. Log on to ARCARacing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and you will see which one of those crazy last lap moves will be the Reese's Sweet move of the race. I think it's going to be this one right here. Great look at that final couple of corners. Christian Eckes might have overdriven it just a touch down into 11, way up the racetrack. He and Sawalich get together once. They get together twice. They're going to get together one more time right here. Sawalich is up the racetrack. You can see how much wheel he had to it. Bouncing off the fence.
All right,
Won
we're
the
here in
drag
victory
race to
lane
the
with
line.
William Sawalich.
We're going to send it downstairs to
Oh my goodness,
Jose.
what a race. Looked like you'd lost it, came back at the finish line, took the checkered flag. How did you pull that off?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely our race. It sucks it had to happen that way, but, you know, we did what we could to get our Starkey Camry in victory lane, so glad we're here. It took me a while to figure out how to do a burnout again.
Hey, a great burnout. So talk about the competition out there. You were out front all race, and then at the end, came so close to losing it.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened in one. I don't know if I overshot it or I'm pretty sure I got ran into. Yeah, I think so. But, I mean, it is what it is. It was a good race to the 25 and everybody else.
Awesome. Best of luck to you on your future. And a winner here today, fans, a big round of applause. Your General Tire 200 winner, William Sawalich.
Boy, it's going to say that he led every lap today, but it's not going to say what happened on that final lap. 3 different lead changes. Wow, absolutely incredible. Here's what we got coming up live here on Flow Racing. ARCA Menards Series West action coming up at Tri-City Raceway on August 9th. Our second and final road course race coming up on August 29th. All-American Speedway on my wife's birthday, September 13th. Madera Speedway, a really fun little bull ring coming up on September 27th. And then the bull ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway coming up on October 10th. All of those races live right here on Flow Racing. And I guarantee you folks, going to see a lot of action very similar to that once we get to those bull rings. And I, for one, am looking forward to each and every one of those shows. What a dramatic, unbelievable finish to this one here today.
The Champions Goblet. Here you go, some sparkling apple juice for you. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner today. A big round of applause for William Sawalich.
It's a fantastic day. Congratulations go out to William Sawalich and the entire Joe Gibbs Racing team on a thrilling victory here at Sonoma Raceway today. Don't forget, folks, Flow Racing, your live and exclusive home for ARCA Menards Series East and West Racing, as well as the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and select NASCAR regional races all across the country. My name is Charlie Craw. We look forward to talking to you next time, live from Tri-City Raceway coming up on August 9th. Until then, so long, everybody.
All right, tomorrow's schedule looks like this. At 10:35, we'll have Cup Series practice, followed 11:45 Cup Series qualifying.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.